Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul and with the Dicey Review, and tonight we're going to be playing the 3 to 10 player game $1 Million Script being released by Portal Games. In $1 Million Script, 2 or 3 teams of screenwriters will pitch movie ideas to a player who plays the role of an executive. This executive already knows the general outline of the movie they want to make, but the players have to provide the details. The players are given some prompts of things that they can use to generate a storyline, but they have to answer a couple of specific questions that the movie studio is looking for. To throw a wrench in the works, the executive player has a few things that they really like to see in the movie, so the executive player may ask the screenwriting teams to throw in different ideas that help meet these goals. Whichever team pitches the best story will be selected and get 4 points, and the other team can have specific things that the executive liked from their story picked as well. In each gameplay, the players will all agree upon a movie genre that they'll remain within, and in our gameplay, we picked fantasy. We're going to be showing a full gameplay of $1 Million Script, so we hope that you enjoy that. But before we get started, let's meet our players.
My name is Mac Lauer, and I'm excited to play this game because I love fantasy, and I love Shakespeare, and he's a fantasy writer.
Hi, my name is David Marchbanks, and I'm excited to play this game because I love movies and I like improv.
Hello, my name is Christopher Gentilina. I believe I will win this game because in my high school yearbook, I was voted most likely to win $1 Million Script.
Hey, what's up? I'm Paul. I'm really excited to play this game. I think I'm going to be great at a game about movies because I saw Nicolas Cage in an airport once, and so I just kind of, watched him, picked up a few tips. I think it's really going to help out.
Hi, my name's Jeremy, and I think Paul invited me to play tonight because I have a friend who once saw Nick Cage in an airport.
Okay, so we're here to write $1 Million Script. Y'all know a little bit about how to play the game, but we will talk a little bit about how to play as we're playing, just so everybody can see how to play $1 Million Script. But essentially, you two are teams of screenwriters that are going to help us sell the biggest blockbuster hit ever. But you just have to fill in the details because we already know what's good. And we have all of the outline. We just need the details filled in, okay? So I am Oliver. I'm going to say that I am Oliver... Cromwell, yeah. Cromwells are pencil eaters from way back.
I'm playing Oliver Cromwell, and as you can see, the resemblance is uncanny. I think Oliver's a bit hungry. Maybe he's been missing a few meals. All he has time to eat is pencils.
So one of the things in this game, I'm playing the executive and y'all are pitching to me, so I have to pick one of y'all's pitches that I like that kind of fills in our storyline as we go. I'm going to throw in some wrenches in the works because there are particular things that I like, and I'm going to ask y'all to incorporate those things.
Every movie needs dazzling costumes, golf, and beagles. I'm really needing to see some beautifully photographed food, maybe some portrayals of family life. Let's see if we can work that in.
And, you don't have to, but then again, I don't have to pick y'all's pitch if you don't, all right? So just know that there's some things that I really like, and they are really good with our movie theme, which is fantasy. So there's one of 8 movie themes in the game. We picked fantasy, and so our movie is going to need to kind of be within that realm, okay? All right, so from the very beginning, what we do is we read a little bit of text, and then we get right into it, okay? So let's jump in. Market Research sent over their latest data this morning, and we'll take a look at the kind of hero they think can sell, and then we'll go from there. So what we do in this game is we create characters, and the way that we do that is we draw particular numbers of cards that are on this card right here, so we need to draw 3 orange cards to create our hero. So one team will draw 1, the other team will draw the second, and then I will draw the third. So our hero, there's 3 different sections of the cards here. Our hero is a family-focused dark elf who falsely believes to have a supernatural gift. All right? The classic age-old story. It's our first character. Good. Oh, man. We've created a hero. While we're at it, let's talk villain. Our market research data gives us a pretty good idea who crowds love to hate right now, which is 3 purple cards is who they love to hate. Crowds can't stand purple this summer. All right, our villain is a schizophrenic conjurer who's set on raising somebody from the dead.
That's convenient.
Yep. Just like every good villain. So what we're trying to do in this round, and the way this is going to work is I'm going to read y'all 2 questions, and then y'all are going to have some time to break out and talk about how you want to answer these questions. You will have 2 flips of this timer, but actually more time because video editing. So what we need to do is we need to define what is the villain's evil goal, and then what is the catastrophic damage that this goal causes. Now, you each have a card right here that will remind you of this goal. So green team, you have a card, and then red team, you have a card that will remind you what we're trying to do. And there are going to be roles within the game. So we're going to have a main presenter, a main narration, so whoever wants to make this pitch to the executive. And then we also have other cards like you can add lines of dialogue, or you can add musical score. You know, you can do like bum, 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 like dramatic drums, or sound effects. So you guys pick a role. But first, you have 3 minutes to brainstorm this idea.
But we're also going to be introducing the hero, why we like them, and what they love, and then introduce a selfish, hateful villain who's obsessed with the evil goal. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have 3 minutes to get all that.
Yep, and it's going to be super easy.
Yeah, sure.
And it's already been a minute. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, alright, making a movie, it's serious business. I don't have a lot of time, and we gotta find ourselves a compelling hero and a compelling villain. The audience has gotta see it.
And time.
Who's going first?
You guys, it's good that y'all were just done, because otherwise you would have run out of time. But now we're ready for pitching our ideas. So we're gonna rotate this back and forth. So this round, team 1, team red, y'all will pitch first, and then team green will pitch second. But don't think I didn't come prepared with props. I did. All right. So whenever y'all are ready to pitch, I will smack this down, and we'll go. All right. Are y'all prepared?
We are ready.
Sure. We didn't think of one thing, but hopefully it didn't come up.
All right. So who's going to be the main narration, and who's going to be the provide?
I believe Jeremy will.
All right. Okay. And a pitch.
Yeah. So, trailer opens, we cut down into a cave, all sorts of dark elves walking around with their bows, arrows, things of that nature, skulking about. Cuts over to one cave hole lit by torches, and we see family therapy. We go inside, and we see our hero, a dark elf therapist, sitting there talking to a couple. Husband obviously doesn't want to be there, and he's just like, look, I get it. Sometimes, look, back before my mother-in-law passed away, every time she talked, all I heard was wah 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 wah.
Good sound effects. Good sound effects.
I get you don't. He's like, I get that you don't. I get that you don't want to be here. And he's like, I'm leaving. We follow the villain as he storms out, hearing all these voices in his head. He's like, you need to get out of therapy. You shouldn't have to be going to therapy. I know what you can do. He didn't like his mother-in-law. Why don't we raise her from the dead?
Oh, no.
Now he's going to nag him to death, and he'll be so busy concerned with his own family life, he won't be able to come after yours. And he sets off, he conjures himself a book on necromancy, and he heads off to the library to study, because that's what all good villains do.
There's so much I like about that, particularly the portrayals of family life. That's really good stuff. I think you're onto something there. Let's see here. So the villain, let me make sure I have this right. So the hero is our family therapist, okay? And the villain is a patient of this?
He's a patient, yes. A good dude because his wife's forcing him to be a patient.
Oh, yeah, because he doesn't want to be there. All right. Okay, cool. All right, good. Between you and me, you guys have it in the bag. But don't tell Team Red. Anyway, that was awesome.
Number 1 and not Team Red.
That's right.
Y'all are definitely in the running. It's going to be good. All right, hold on. Let's see here. Wants to raise mother-in-law from the dead to distract our main hero. What's this main hero's name?
This main hero's name is
John Ronald.
The typical elven name, John Ronald. Okay. And who is our villain?
The worst name imaginable, Jeremy Brunner.
Oh, no.
Paul promised me we'd have one game night where Jeremy Brunner wasn't the villain. One game night. That's all I asked. One.
All right, who's y'all's main narrator?
All right, that's going to be me.
All right.
Get ready to get your socks blown off.
I didn't even wear any.
Oh, man. Job 1 done.
Wipe all the egg off your face. All right. And pitch.
All right, picture it. Lush scenes, orchestral score coming in, We see Forrest filming in New Zealand.
Oh, perfect.
Picture Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars. It's unbelievable. A lot of helicopter shots, forests, mountains, all this stuff. And we come in to a family home where kids are running all around. They're so happy. They're loving their lives. This family of dark elves, but there's a dark side to this story. The mother has passed away. And there's a father. He's living alone, raising 10 kids by himself, but he's the perfect father, the model of a father, even, you might say. And he's raising these children on his own, all on his own. And
a dog dragon.
And a dog. Yes, he has a dragon.
Okay, good.
A pet
Good.
dragon.
Can I pause real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I have my niece loves New Zealand, and she absolutely just has always wanted to be in the movies. Is there a part for my niece in this movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
All these 10 kids have friends.
niece
Some of the
in
friends are
movie.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very important.
well, and I mean,
A
as
kid,
matter of fact,
that's
the oldest
fine.
daughter, I think, probably could really.
Yeah,
would,
she has
you
a
know,
paper route.
Yeah.
She needs a friend to help her, fold those papers.
Might I add, she is not welcome in ours.
I'm good. I'm glad that y'all know where to draw the line.
Classic Chris. Insulting my niece was a bold move. It was pretty crazy. So crazy it just might work. I mean, probably not. It was a pretty bad idea, but maybe.
So this man is living without his wife, who's died in a tragic accident. And all we know is that there is a schizophrenic conjurer who hears voices and had a relationship with this man's wife and was in love with her. And
So he thinks.
And thought that she was in love with him too, because he hears voices, you see. So he thinks that he hears the voice of the ex-wife. Yes, I love you. Yeah, picture this. He's sitting in his dark cave alone with his conjurings, and thinks that this wife is in love with him.
Bring me back.
I got to be honest with you. All right, I'm a movie executive. I don't have time for however this finishes. All right. You had me really interested so far, but completely random and not by a predetermined method, I've decided that we're done. Because I have appointments. So I have to choose between Cave Elves Family Therapist Elf wanted to raise mother-in-law from dead to distract John Ronald Jeremy Bruner. That makes sense. Lush scenes for it. You know what? I'm going to pick y'all's storyline not because I can't remember the other one, but because it was so good, and it really just painted a picture. Especially the score. It was a lot. But
Paul's played D&D. He should know. Dark elves are all about family therapy. How could he not go with family therapy loving dark elves? I just don't understand it.
I need to ask.
Should have let his niece in.
Who is
We should have let him know that the main character had an only daughter. It was going to be second billing.
We forgot that part.
who is our hero's name? What's our hero's name?
The hero's name is obviously Delvin.
Obviously is a terrible name for a hero, but we can work with it.
It's
Delvin, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Delvin, obviously.
Delvin, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
You know what?
It's open for change, but
You know what? I love that y'all are trying to, I don't know, I guess get in the character of the elves, but I really like to be more traditional. So I'm going to buy the character named John Ronald from this team because I want to, kind of at least stick to our standard fantasy tropes. So John Ronald is our elf hero. And I love the villain name of Jeremy Bruner. If there's one thing that I know, it's people love to hate Jeremy Bruner. So I'm going to buy that from y'all as well. So you get 2 points for those 2 plot points that I bought from y'all. And then for picking this storyline, you will get 4 points for our first round. But we can't stick around and dilly-dally. We can't cry into our milk about how we lost round 1, all right? Because I'm in Hollywood, and we got to move on. Look at me. I don't even have time to eat a meal. All I can eat is pencils.
Can we trade our points for Starbursts?
Yes, actually, since you did such a good job with coming up with a character name, you get a treat. That's strawberry. That is pink. That's the flavor pink.
He came up with both names.
So I don't know if anybody's as upset as I am, but we were promised food, and Paul only brought Starbursts.
It's a little concerning that we were promised food. We didn't get it. And then Paul brought Starbursts, and I didn't get any.
seriously could have sworn it smelled like food when I walked in here. Did it smell like food to y'all?
Man, these are good chips. I am so full. I don't think I could eat another bite. The guys will probably be fine. I'll bring candy or something.
We don't have time to waste a bunch of time eating Starburst. We have to generate a sidekick, all right? So we have to create a sidekick by first drawing one orange card or yellow card and two purple cards. And we're about a half hour into the movie, right? We've got a good scene set up. We've got this family man who's trying to raise 10 kids. We've got a schizophrenic villain who's hearing voices. We've got a really good setup, but now we need a sidekick for our hero, okay?
So now we have an idealistic turncoat who will do anything to prolong a loved one's life.
The classic sidekick profile. And like I said, we're about a half hour into the movie, and the hero is going to meet their sidekick, and they find out that there's a fix for this catastrophic damage that was caused that we absolutely addressed in round one because I didn't cut you off.
Totally.
There is a fix to this catastrophic damage that was caused by the villain. And it could be an item, it could be a place, it could be a person, anything you want it to be. But to get the fix, the hero and the sidekick, they have to enter the villain's turf. Okay, so you have to determine, number one, what is the fix? And number two, what is the villain's turf? So where would someone who hears voices hang out?
Idealistic turncoat who will do anything to prolong.
And we don't want the villain we don't want to go into the villain's turf just yet. We just want to know what the turf is and what is the fix to solve this catastrophic damage.
All right. Got it.
All right.
I'm on it.
And more time.
So
Right.
we never actually established what the massive damage was from this
No,
toy?
we did not. And
So how do we
Don't worry,
prolong
we'll address
from
it.
that?
I mean, true love, witches, fabulous costumes. I thought we had it all nailed. We had it all nailed. There was no way he was going to go with another pitch. I mean,
The voices in the library moment came to me because my mom is a librarian. I mean, I practically grew up in a library.
That was my idea. He said it was his idea? Mom? My idea.
So we'll probably cut this, but every time we said John Ronald's wife is a witch, Paul said, "Oh, I know what that's like."
because I want my wife to stay my wife.
as soon as I found out that Oliver loved golf, I was like, home run, because this is a fantasy movie, and that's how much I know about golf.
I think audiences are just tired of all of these fantasy tropes, bows, arrows, magic. I think what people really want to know is, can Legolas chip it in from the sand? Or can, Gandalf shoot his age? Welcome back to part 2 of our full playthrough of $1 Million Script from Portal Games. If you've seen our last episode, you know that we've had highs, we've had lows, we've had mediums, we have a beagle named MacGuffin, we have everything that you need for a fantastic plot. So let's dive right back in and see where we go. So in between rounds, I heard Chris lean over to Jeremy and say, "Hey, I've got this great idea. Our villain who hears voices should work in the library." Which is that's just great, right? A villain who is mean to everybody in the library, not because he means to be, but because he hears voices. It was just a clever joke. So I told David and Mac about the idea, and we decided to have a little bit of fun.
I just want you to know, Paul, we came up with a great idea. Our villain hears voices in the library.
Oh, are you serious?
The voices in the library moment came to me because my mom is a librarian. I mean, practically grew up in a library.
That was my idea. He said it was his idea? My idea.
Chris. No, I told them as you were walking away, I was like, you guys have some pretty stiff competition. I heard Chris's idea and they're going to win. It was like, somebody hears voices in the library is the funniest thing I've ever heard. All right. But I was like, it would be just like Hollywood. We'd be like, wait, we're pitching first? Okay, we have this great original idea. Right before y'all pitch. I love it when a plan comes together. So to set the scene, we have John Ronald, and Jeremy Brunner.
Jeremy
Right,
Brunner.
our hero John Ronald, the family man trying to raise 10 kids, who his wife tragically passed away, and Jeremy Brunner is a conjurer who thought that John Ronald's wife loved him, but he was just hearing voices. That's where we are.
That's where we
okay.
are for
All
this.
right. Well, this time, y'all are pitching first.
Okay. We'll tie the couch.
Y'all are pitching second. A pitch.
All right. So if Jeremy Brunner brings back John Ronald's wife in the wrong way, she'll be a lich. And John Ronald knows this. He knows, but he thinks mistakenly that he can bring his wife back in the right way. Well, turns out Jeremy Brunner has an assistant whose name is
Leroy.
Helms. Leroy Helms. And Leroy Helms finds out that Jeremy Brunner is in love with John Ronald's wife and realizes that John Ronald's wife was, get this, his long-lost sister. Who saved his life when he was a child from a frozen river. And she saved his life, so he would do anything to extend her life. And he found out the true secret to bringing her back from the dead and decides to turn his back on his master, Jeremy Brunner, and join John Ronald and become his sidekick and join him in his quest to bring her back from the dead.
Oh, all right.
Yep, and the lair. Don't forget the lair.
The lair of the evil villain, which
I definitely flipped that.
The lair of the evil villain is a dark cave riddled with spiders and witches. Like think, double toil and trouble.
Yep. And the name of his cave is the library.
The library.
That's an original idea. I like it. I like it.
Yep.
I like it a whole bunch.
Yep.
Ooh, I would hate the team that has to pitch after you guys. Anyway, hey, y'all have a chance, all right? It's now y'all's turn to pitch, but I do want to ask one question. Do you think that there's any room for dazzling costumes in y'all's scenery?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the witches for sure.
The witches,
dazzling
yeah.
costumes.
When you think about that, yeah.
Anytime you have a sidekick.
Sparkling witches is the kind that I'm most used to.
Yeah. Well, and also
Blue's a good witch,
the sidekick is magical, so his costume is magically glowing at all times.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So and being a dark elf, John Ronald is pretty flashy himself.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The flashy dark elf.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, true love, witches, fabulous costumes. I thought we had it all nailed. There was no way he was going to go with another pitch. I mean,
Oh boy, just between you two, they don't stand a chance. All right, anyway, it's y'all's turn to pitch. I will actually flip it this time. Are you going to be our main narrator?
Yes.
And the pitch.
All right, so we start in the library with Jeremy Brunner. There's all these whispers. Every time, you have to whisper in the library. Every time somebody whispers, he responds, "It's because she loves me. No, I'm going to bring her back from the dead." And he's just sitting here talking about that. And we cut over. Well, first we pan through the library. We see all the patrons and their amazing costumes. I'm talking about costumes that light up. They go on fire and then change into something else. I mean, these costumes are mind-blowing.
Think Liberace meets Ronald McDonald.
I love that look.
Yes. Just these costumes are amazing. And we cut to the most fantastic costume of all, the head librarian, Danielle Steele. An orc living in a dark elf village despite the war the orcs had because she believed in the dark elves' family values. She believed in their ideals. So she turned turncoat and fought for the dark elves and now works as their head librarian. She, hearing this, goes to the main hero's name, who is John Ronald's house, knocks on his door and says, I know we don't really know each other. You've brought your kids in a few times, but I've heard Jeremy Brunner's planning on bringing your wife back from the dead, and I don't know if that'd be good or not. And he just looks sullen, just like he's been punched in the gut. And she's like, "What?" He's like, "Are you worried she's going to come back as a lich?" And he's like, "No, don't be stupid. That's way overdone. My wife was literally a witch." And we cut back to his wife, back in the day going, as she cast a love spell on him, forcing him to marry her and have all these kids. He loves his kids, he loves his family, but she forced it upon him.
Well, we don't have to have the cat.
And we don't need that because they had a little bit extra time. And just so you know, this one of his daughters.
Hold on.
How old is your
This
niece?
is the best part.
Oh, my niece. Yeah, she's about 12.
So
She's
his
about 12.
12-year-old daughter, this would be perfect.
Oh,
Comes up and
a
says,
spot in your movie, you say.
yeah,
Hold
comes up
on.
and says, "Hey, You said that Jeremy Bruner's been disappearing somewhere in the library to work on this. I know of a hidden basement.
Dungeon.
Yes, fantasy. It's a dungeon under the Sage Research Facility of Dark Elves.
All right. Okay. Now, I have a couple of follow-up questions. I love the family life. The dazzling costumes were choice. They had mentioned a dog dragon. Now, I'm a real stickler for beagles, and I have a beagle that I would.
The dragon has huge floppy ears.
Oh,
Like,
so actually,
really
we didn't
big.
actually tell you the main important part of ours. The reason the librarian's getting so involved is the spell to bring the wife back requires a sacrifice, and Jeremy Bruner has kidnapped Danielle Steele's beagle, whose name is MacGuffin.
MacGuffin.
Yes, did we not mention that part?
No, you didn't.
And
no, you
in
didn't.
order to
That was
stop,
intentional.
in order to stop that, we need that beagle rescued.
This is a tough choice.
Yeah, is there
Not a
anything
tough
else that
choice.
you'd like to tell us?
This is a really tough decision. You guys have it in the bag. Well, I'm going to draw it out for at least 10 more seconds, but I think I'm going to go with Team Red here for 4 points. But I have to be honest with you. Let me read back. I really like the name Leroy Helms. Is there any way that we can work in Leroy Helms?
The
We've
daughter.
got
The daughter.
We've got
The
Danielle
12-year-old
Steele.
daughter.
One of the sons, you guys, and one of the sons, his sons is named Leroy.
Oh, well, that's great. I think that's at least worth
he
1
doesn't have a
point
part
of
in our
credits. I think that's worth 1 point unit. And you guys, I'm going to buy that name. I also love, I think that's the only thing I'm going to buy. Well, actually, I like that the cave was full of witches. So we're also going to buy that idea from them as well. So that cave that y'all talked about,
The dungeon.
the dungeon.
Yeah. So
Witches.
what about the witch we talked about?
Well, there could be other witches. Maybe for my niece. She's got a great cackle. Anyway, moving right on because I'm a Hollywood executive. We're about an hour into the movie, okay? And the hero and their sidekick, Danielle Leroy Jenkins, Steele, we'll figure that out in between rounds, into the villain's turf and they try and get the fix. But they're confronted with an unexpected challenge and they fail catastrophically. The hero has to pay a crushing price for this failure. We might only be halfway through the movie, but the audience has to think that it is finished, think that it's over. We don't want to have the hero encounter the villain yet, but the questions that we're trying to answer are, what is the unexpected challenge and what is the crushing price that our hero has to pay? And brainstorm to this time. All right, so we are now at the time where we are going to pitch, okay? So we need to, we've determined what the sidekick was. Now we need to, wait, where are we at?
We're at the
already
point
done
where
that.
they're going to have a catastrophic failure.
That's right. That's where we're going to go.
Everyone thinks this is.
And since you
We went first last time.
pitched first last time, you will pitch first this time. And a pitch.
So they get to the library, and the daughter has all of these great lines. They come across an unexpectedly locked door. She shows how brilliant she is by solving the puzzle to get past the door. There's an evil minotaur on the other side who's getting ready to kill them, but he sees how beautiful the young girl is, and how nice she is, and how great and wonderful this girl is, and how fabulous her costume is that she's wearing, that he just lets the entire group pass. They get all the way deep into the cave where they expect to find the villain. They do find MacGuffin, but they also see two witches. And who are these witches? But John Ronald's sister-in-laws. They were all three witches, the sisters. And what do? They say, "You're not a very good father." And he's like, "What? No, I'm a great
Our
father."
sister was better than you.
Yes.
And things of that nature.
Our sister had horrible taste in men. That means you. And his self-esteem just getting lower and lower as they point out all of these different flaws. They're just like, you have a bit of a beer gut in your old age. You're not as handsome as you used to be. And as we all know, when Dark Elf's self-esteem gets too low, they can die. And he collapses. And they're like, oh, did our vicious mockery cause you to suffer pain and punishment? Are you about to die from our vicious mockery? And at this point, the beagle, MacGuffin, rushes out and he bites the leg of one of the witches very bravely. And everyone thinks that, oh, maybe this is going to be the turning point. But the other witch is able to scoop up the beagle and they disappear. And just at that point in time, noxious gas starts to fill the room. going to kill everybody. But luckily, your niece saves the day. She
I
knows,
like that a lot.
Yes. She finds a
good
secret
writing.
lever that just completely removes the gas, and they're all able to escape from the library. However, his self-esteem was so shot that poor John Ronald, he hasn't woken up. He's stuck in his own nightmares of his head. Just hearing it over and over. You fail. You're a failure. You didn't deserve your wife, even though she was a witch. You didn't even deserve a witch. You don't deserve anything you have. And he's just trapped in his own mind, and we get to have such an amazing dream sequence with that. I mean, you thought the costumes before were fabulous. They're nothing compared to this. And all the family disrepair going through his mind. Is he a good dad? Who knows?
Montage.
That's really good. That's
Star
really
Wars.
good. Montages are okay. What I'm really looking for in this scene, just to make it perfect, is some great photography of food.
Oh.
Do you think that there's anything like that we can throw in?
You know what some of the vicious mockery is? Is about how poor of a cook he is. And we get all of these images of the meals he's prepared over the years and how they fail compared to the meals his witch of a wife made.
You know where they go directly after the dungeon? A golden corral. Golden corral. Golden corral.
Let me be clear. This video is in no way sponsored by or related to the Golden Corral.
Well, I don't think that there's any chance that anyone who pitches after you has any chance of winning at all. Your turn. And pitch.
All right.
Can you just do that again and turn it around?
Oh. Hold on.
He's been doing that the whole time.
Through the
It's
magic of editing, I'm not going to cut that out. And pitch.
All right, picture it. They're in the library. Your daughter leads them to the daughter leads them. Your niece leads them to the cave. The cave is filled with witches. As they come into the cave, it's filled with witches who they're fighting through them with spells and magical sequences going off, and they have to fight through the traps of the cave and get through the necromancer's evil lair. And his lair is nefarious as you could possibly imagine. It's filled with dark dangers. It's filled with adventure. They spend days trying to get to the necromancer's, the conjurer's the center of his evil lair, and the daughter is with them. So your niece is there the whole time with the
like
orc
that.
and with John Ronald. And when they finally get there, they think that they've made it in time, but they see standing on a dais raised up with a glowing cauldron, the conjurer standing behind it, saying the last words of a spell. And as the spell dies off his lips, he says, "Isabella, rise!" And suddenly, the beagle who's laying on the altar stands up and barks. And the conjurer himself is like, "No, Isabella's body has been trapped in Isabella's soul has been trapped in the body of the beagle. No, my spell has failed." And we think all is lost, and that Isabella's soul has been trapped in the body of a beagle. And in reality, that's where we're left, and we're left with John Ronald thinking that his wife is now trapped forever in the body of a dog, and that he can never get her back.
That's good. That portrays lots of family life.
Yeah,
I like
But
all the
here's
family portrayal in
Here's
that.
the killer. The very first thing they face whenever they come into the dungeon is a gigantic feast. A huge feast. And there's an
feast,
aerial
you say?
shot of all the food on the table, but they realize your niece, the daughter, realizes they can't touch the food because it's magical and it will enchant them, and they'll be trapped in the dungeon forever.
I think we can get lots of slow panning shots of that
slow
beautiful
panning
food.
shots of all the food on the table. Yeah. It's the very first scene.
There's only one thing that this scene is missing. Golf. How can you incorporate golf into this scene? That's the only thing that'll make this all tie together and make sense.
As soon as I found out that Oliver loved golf, I was like, home run, because this is a fantasy movie, and that's how much I know about golf.
You know, I think audiences are just tired of all of these fantasy tropes, bows, arrows, magic. I think what people really want to know is, can Legolas chip it in from the sand? Or can, I don't know, Gandalf shoot his age?
Yeah.
Right in front of the altar.
And the audience,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Right in front of the altar is a putting green.
Yeah.
We are talking fantasy.
Dead center of the altar where the beagle is,
All right.
and they have to,
I mean, maybe that could be like a director's cut, an extra scene.
There was a Golden Tee arcade machine in the
one
Golden Corral.
One of the vicious mockeries was your golf game sucks.
Well,
And we had images of him playing golf.
And one of the things that he didn't get the chance to say is to make it to the altar, to unlock the door, they actually have to take and make a makeshift club and knock a ball, a round stone into the hole. And so it's fantasy golf. It's
a puzzle
that they have to find
it's a
out, but
puzzle.
it's an actual putting green.
All right.
They have to knock it into.
Well, the twist of having the wife's body resurrected into the Beagle is too good. All right, I have to go with y'all's plot line. I love the Minotaur. We need the Minotaur. All right, and I also MacGuffin is a hard line. We cannot pass up on MacGuffin the Beagle. All right, so we have to keep the name MacGuffin, or else everybody walks. All right, this movie doesn't get made. And if there's one saying we have at Fat Cat Movies, it's we're making movies. It's a bad saying, but we had to put it on the sign. All right, so y'all's storyline is picked. 2 of y'all's story points are picked. And now, since we don't have any more time to dilly-dally, we have to go. They're at their lowest point. They think that the wife is trapped in the Beagle. The hero has a surprising realization at this point, however. Potentially, but not necessarily, this is a painful truth about themselves, a long-held blind spot, a lie the hero has been buying into all their life, and this realization changes everything. The new insight gives them a crazy idea for how they could get their hands on the fix after all. But don't let the hero enact their plan just yet. They've come up with this plan based off of this crazy realization about themselves of how they're going to go get the fix, and this plan is just daring. It's daring beyond belief. It's going to have to involve risking everything and taking all the chances. All right. So the 2 questions that we're trying to answer are: what is this surprising realization that the hero realizes about themselves, and what is the crazy idea that it inspires?
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And we're breaking. Where are we? We are in this library. We found out that
airtight plot.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with this movie whatsoever. It's going to sell like
what
crazy.
editing is for.
If there's one thing that we've learned, it's that writers don't know how to write, executives know how to write. Okay? That's what makes good movies. So we are in this cave filled with fabulous witches. A Minotaur has complimented my niece, which audiences are going to love. There's lots of food everywhere. This is all great. We've got golf puzzles, and we found out that the Beagle, MacGuffin, is trapping the soul of John Ronald's wife, Isabella
Rossellini, yes.
Rossellini.
Would it be Ronald?
So the whole last
Isabella
name didn't.
Rossellini Ronald, obviously. I mean, obviously. Yeah.
So what happened next was the hero had a surprising realization for their character after this horrible failure, and it caused them to have a crazy idea. That's where we are. You guys pitched first?
No.
Second last time, which means you will pick first this time. Pitch first. And pitch!
All right. Picture it. John Ronald's sitting there. He's troubled. He doesn't know if he's sad or angry or hurt that his wife has been trapped in the body of his beloved Beagle MacGuffin. I mean, he knows that he wants MacGuffin to be okay, but he's torn as to whether or not he wants his wife to be okay. And then suddenly, his witch of a wife, he suddenly has a flashback. He has a flashback to their wedding day. And then we get a flashback to a fantasy wedding. Picture it. Chiffon. Costumes are so fabulous here. It's unbelievable. You can't believe how fabulous these costumes are at this wedding. But then we get the flashback of when they exchange their vows, and he realizes that he's been lied to.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
May I interrupt?
No, you may not.
I know how this is going.
Yeah.
So then as they exchange vows, then your niece hears a magic phrase, the phrase, and she likes, wait a minute, I recognize this phrase from my years of research in the library, that if this phrase is uttered, then it nullifies the spell.
Ooh.
So she knows that the wife truly loved him and actually undid her spell at their wedding, and they were truly in love the whole time. And John Ronald realizes this and realizes that he hasn't been fooled his whole life, and that his whole life has not been a lie, and that he truly loved his wife the entire time, and that true love nullifies the spell that traps someone's soul inside the body of an animal, so her soul has not been trapped inside MacGuffin.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. She hasn't been raised to life, but the spell is ready to go to bring her back to life. All they have to do is defeat Jeremy Brunner. If they can defeat Jeremy Brunner, they can do the spell and bring her back to life truly and fully, and they can live happily ever after.
Look, that's a wonderful pitch, but I don't have any more time. We're busy. I don't have any follow-up questions. It's airtight. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing whatsoever. I love the costumes. And now it's y'all's turn. Snap.
We have a name. It's Team Red.
To pitch.
One, team winners.
Y'all are team y'alls. It's y'all's turn. And to pitch.
So, horrified by his loss, still being haunted by this loss, he thinks back to what went wrong, what they could do, and a constant image keeps lingering in his mind. That putting green in front of the altar. He knows he's seen Jeremy Brunner somewhere before. He knows, and he thinks back, and there used to be a large golf course. He remembers seeing Jeremy Brunner out there playing golf, and he realizes he loves golf, and that's when he gets his idea. They're going to build a fantasy miniature golf course. All of the employees wearing crazy fantasy costumes. All of the holes. We got a dragon breathing fire. You got to wait for the timing. We got a unicorn running across. We got griffins.
Chicago.
We've got everything on this fantasy golf course. And what do? They're spying. They're spying on Jeremy Brunner, seeing how he plays. And what has he done? He's trained Isabella MacGuffin to chase the ball as he hits it and get it out of the hole. The other thing is, Jeremy Brunner's amazing at golf and at miniature golf. There's no way he's going to lose. So what is their plan? Your daughter comes up with the idea. She enchants a golf ball that they're going to give to him, that when it's hit into a hole, it's a hole-in-one, it will release the soul of the nearest creature, which will be MacGuffin, and it will be Isabella's soul, and purify MacGuffin, restoring MacGuffin back to his beagly goodness, and he can return to Danielle. During all of this planning, Danielle's realized she not only loves her niece, she loves John Ronald, and perhaps she could be the mother they've always needed.
That is good.
I like the social inclusion of orcs and elves. I don't think that you should rely on two dark elves getting together in today's society.
Look, I only care about 8 things, and that is not one of them. All right.
Don't say that in public.
The card tells me what I care about. It's not that. It says golf. All right.
And did we mention that every golfer is given a golfer's feast? There's a big banquet to kick off the tournament.
Ooh, golfer's
All
feast.
wearing
And everyone's
outfits.
and every extravagant outfits, and all the tables are divided up by family to celebrate family life.
It's a tough choice. Not really, but it's a tough choice. And I'm saying that to create tension. I think I like storyline 1 a little bit better. I like the idea of those vows, the secret phrase nullifying this realization that the main character John Ronald has this realization that he truly did have love all along, and this sets up a truly great fix. It answers the question, what is this the fix that they have to go and solve this issue that they have. So I like y'all's storyline, but I really love them finding a mother. That needs to happen in this storyline. And I also love all of the sweeping shots of food. So I'm going to buy those 2 things, and y'all have to incorporate that, or else you're fired. But I'm keeping y'all's storyline.
Got it. Great. Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
All right. And now we have our shocking finale. We're in the last 10 minutes of the movie. Acting on their crazy idea, the terrified hero soon comes face to face with a vastly superior villain. What ensues is a life or death showdown. It quickly becomes clear just how foolish the hero was to think that they stood any chance at all. But wait, just as the hero is about to get crushed, they pull a brilliant winning move that annihilates the villain. Nobody saw this coming, least of all the hero themselves. It's heroic, uplifting, and true evidence of their growth. The hero takes possession of the fix and uses it to repair the catastrophic damage. Good triumphs over evil. We fade to black. Cellos play us to the parking lot. So, what does the life or death showdown look like? And what is the hero's brilliant winning move? Dun-dun. All right, we have to have our shocking finale. We're answering the question, what does this life or death showdown look like? And what is the hero's brilliant winning move? Okay, so Team Red, you will be pitching first, and Team Green, that means you'll be pitching after first. And pitch!
Danielle has to rescue MacGuffin. John Ronald has to rescue his wife's soul. And, wait, what was your niece's name?
It's Karen. Karen,
That
my
is the
niece.
name of the oldest daughter.
Oh,
gosh. And Karen is going with him as she knows the spell to free the wife.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
He head to the dungeon. They head to the dungeon on their enchanted bikes. And when they get there, they come across the other witches. This time, John Ronald's prepared. He tells them all about how great of a father he is, how they missed out on not being with this guy, and the great meals he prepared, the great outfits him and his wife have worn, the golf they played, the family that they developed. The witches
The
just
photo albums that the sister-in-laws were not invited to.
That's right.
Included in it.
And including in those photo albums, pictures of every anniversary feast they ever had. Nice lingering close-ups with amazing music.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Plenty of food shots.
But as the sisters fall, we look over, we see Jeremy Bruner has young Karen held captive, and there's no way John Ronald can get there in time. So John Ronald, if we cut back to a memory of him researching, there's 2 ways to end the spell. One will destroy all life on the planet, but it will mean him and his family get to live in peace and harmony forever in heaven. And Jeremy Bruner will go straight to hell, where he deserves. And so he says the line, everybody, all of a sudden, blue lights on all of our heroes, red flames surround all of our villains. And just as they're getting ready to go, MacGuffin has no light. And John says, MacGuffin, what's going on? And MacGuffin woofs once, and several other beagles come out also with no lights. And he says, Why, John Ronald, these are my motorcycling family. We are the Meeks. And as is foretold, the Meeks shall inherit the earth. Thank you, John Ronald. Thank you and your family. Danielle, I will always love you, and I will find you in the future. Setting up a great sequel.
Yes, with the Backstreet Boys playing in the background.
Yeah, I'm thinking we might need a trilogy out of this, and there's definitely material. All right. Yep, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like the family involvement. I like all the food. I'm assuming there were dazzling costumes in here?
Oh, that goes without saying.
Every single costume.
We didn't have to
Well,
say
it went without saying.
Let me tell you, those beagles at the end. Have you ever seen beagles in cute costumes? Have you ever seen beagles in cute costumes? Because the internet has, and they love them.
I'm hoping the internet makes its way into this fantasy movie as well. We'll see. All right. Well, it's time for Green Pitch 2. Oh, that's not a bad idea for a movie involving golf. All right.
in case we tie.
All right. So picture it. John Ronald's at his lowest. He's there. His wife. He believes that his wife's soul has been encapsulated into the body of a dog, and he believes he's been defeated. And suddenly he realizes he has to defeat Jeremy Bruner. And Jeremy Bruner suddenly explodes into a massive, just magical fury, and he becomes sound effects, and his costume starts glowing. It's just fabulous, and fabric flowing everywhere as he floats into the air, and his cloak is billowing out behind him, and he forms this huge fireball and is about to destroy John Ronald. And John Ronald suddenly, from the darkness in the corner of the cave, here's his daughter, your niece Karen, by the way, yell out to him.
Great fantasy name.
Exactly. And he turns to her, and she tosses him the golf club that he used in the golf challenge earlier to solve the putting green challenge. And he sees the golf ball-shaped rock in front of him, and he realizes he has one shot.
You can do it, Daddy.
Yeah, and she believes in him, and because she believes in him, he hauls off and he takes one massive shot. And just like David and Goliath, the rock flies and strikes true right to Jeremy Bruner's forehead, who falls down dead. And he defeats him, and he realizes that the spell has been primed, and he can bring back his wife. And because of the true love, it actually doesn't just bring her back to life, but it purifies her soul from all of her witchy evilness. And all of the witches become purified and become one big family, and they end with a huge family feast on a golf course. A huge fairway feast. A feast so big you need golf carts to get from one end to the other. Yes, exactly. Fantasy golf
That's where all the
carts.
motors came in.
Yeah.
Just wondered about
And we get a big shot of the feast, of all the food at the feast, and everyone living as a huge happy family at the end.
This is a tough call, and I'm thinking about this. And I think I have to go with Team Red. All right? I love the idea of the meek inheriting the earth. I'm sorry, Team Green, but that plot just made too much sense. I have to go with y'all's plot that sets up sequels with lovable beagles, because if there's one thing that audiences want, it's fantasy-based pet films. And in fact, I hated this so much that I'm not going to buy anything. I'm awarding no points, which means that we're tied. And the tiebreaker in this game is you both have to come up with a name for the movie and a tagline that is going to put butts in seats. That's what we need.
You know, right off the top of my head, I think Lord of the Links. Love finds a way.
Ooh, that's a good title. That's a good title.
No. I
It
like Green Pitch 2 because Green Pitch 1 wasn't recorded. I like that one.
It incorporates golf. It brings in the fantasy
entire
theme. And now y'all's theme.
MacGuffin, the lovin' you need.
The lovin' you need. Well, it's a tough call, and it's not predetermined. But I'm definitely Actually, it is different. But I still think I love Lord of the Links enough, the Green Pitch 2. That makes total sense. It ties everything together. And because of that, you have narrowly won in a tiebreaker victory.
Congratulations.
That was fair and
why it is
honest
technical.
and only recorded once.
So we'll probably cut this, but every time we said John Ronald's wife is a witch, Paul said, "Oh, I know what that's like."
It will be cut! Because I want my wife to stay my wife.